Here's how this 2003 Kenworth looked before, with all the clear coat coming off. Big scar right there. Paint coming off the doors. Back completely full of dents, basically caved in 2 spots. Chassis really needing sandblasted. Whew. Well, that wasn't very much fun, and it took half my afternoon, but got it all blasted. Morning, gang. Well, the crew's gonna come through the door here in the next 15 minutes or so, and when they do, we're gonna go ahead and get started on this 2003 Kenworth W900 that I sandblasted yesterday. And now, as you can see, got the chassis good and clean now finally. Now we need to start tackling some of these other things. Good morning. I do have my work cut out for me. Very odd. I was pretty impressed. I'm gonna do what I always do on these trucks. And that just happens to be my thing, by the way. This paint job's probably 5-6 years old. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. And here he is leaving. It wasn't quite as fun as I was expecting. And that starts right about now. Well, I'll get the first coat on the door. And you can see on the side of the hood, there's some weird anomaly right in here. I've never seen anything like that. If this is a stock hood and this has never been repainted, that's a strange thing to have in there. Not very good. It's weird because I think this is the original paint, so I don't know why that's there. That's probably going to take body work. All right, now I've got the basic bodywork hammered out over here and the glazing on it. This side is basically done. Now I can turn everything over to the boys, both sides, the front, everything over to them, and I can just concentrate on the back here. And I believe I've got my hands full. Now, before I get too carried away back here, the first thing I want to do is get this out of the way. It's riding too close to there. I'm going to need just too much space back here. I want to set my boards up here with my pads on top and all that stuff. That's just in the way. So I'm going to take that one bolt loose, and I'm just going to set this down in this little cradle here and put my boards over the top of it before I do anything else. There, that's about the best I can do for now. Now I can easily put my boards over the top of it so I can, you know, get a better vantage point here. All right, now I'm up here standing on top of the engine here, and I'm looking down on the open hood. And this is a little unexpected. Usually when you have those, and if you've seen my videos, you've seen it 100 times, that these are always off on these Kenworth hoods, or often, not always, but often. But to have one side be in really good shape, nice and snug and right where it needs to be. And one side be, what, 1.25 to almost 1.5 inches off is weird. That's strange to have one side so bad and the other side be in perfectly good shape. I'm not sure I've ever seen that before. Usually they're both damaged, to some degree. But that one over there doesn't need anything, so that's weird. But I'm going to go ahead and remove this one and put a fiberglass repair over it and reinstall it so it's where it needs to be, because it needs to come down a long ways. Okay, now a few hours have passed and I'm going to go ahead now at this point and unmask this guy. We'll go ahead and get this all put back together before we go any further here. And at this point, we got this completely ready to go. I'll go ahead and get my drill bit, which I already have over here, and get the holes drilled. I already have this spread out enough that it's going to go back on the new width here. So I'll put this on here, and I'll go ahead and get my holes drilled, get it bolted back up. Okay, at this point, this guy is every bit as solid, if not more solid, than it was when it was brand new. 4 layers up here, 4 layers underneath, completely rebuilt. I even moved the wood block inside to a different location, moved it over an inch or so I could drill all new holes through it. So this guy should be good to go for the rest of the life of the truck. Okay, now that I've got that laid in there about as much as I needed, I'm going to go ahead and put a couple boards on top of this with a pad on top of that. And I'm going to go ahead and start prepping on this because there is a ton of body work that needs to happen. Okay, now you can see I've had these first 2 sections here sanded and ready for body work. Now I want to show you something here. This side's already been blown off. I'll go ahead and blow this one off because you can see there's no shiny spots at all. But now look how many shiny spots there actually are. Covered in them. Covered in them. That's why just running a DA over something like this is never the only answer. You run a DA over it, you blow it all off, and then you get in here with a scratch pad and you actually scratch each one of those so they will hold the body work that you fill them with. And then you got to scratch in close to the rivets in case you get body work in close to the rivets. So there's a bunch of scratching that needs to happen here now. Well, I got this initial body work on it. As you can see by the darkness here, those are the low spots. You don't want to go chasing those. If you chase them with your sander, you will eventually get them out, but you're just going to have dished in areas. It's going to be a different form of dent on the back of your truck, or on your surface. So as you can see these low spots here, Jeff had to come get me. He's the one that found them and he showed me. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and prep these other areas and get some of this other initial body work done. Huh, Jeff? Especially those big dents. That's what I'm really going to do next, is I'm going to focus on filling those big dents. And the reason I'm going to fill the dents instead of just going after the panel is because they're going to need 2 or 3 coats. I'm going to need to really fill them. There's 3 of them that are just deep, like 3/4 of an inch deep. So I'm gonna have to get some initial body work on them first, then work on the panels around them. And then when it comes time that I have my low spots from doing my initial body work that isn't quite done yet, just like this, that's when I'll go through and hit all these low spots, or most of them, a big chunk of them, in one shot. So I'm gonna save this for now, prep on this, fill those big dents, start on these panels, and when the need arises for second coats, that's when I'll include these again.
Splice Originals.
Morning, gang. Now, I broke away from this yesterday afternoon, about mid to later afternoon, and went and took care of some other chores on the property and just left this for the moment. Now, this morning I'm going to go ahead and get the glazing on here and get it all boarded down. And then yesterday, before I left yesterday afternoon, I went ahead and got the hood primed. I had the crew get it all ready for me. And so once that was done, I came and I did some initial glazing and some spots and things like that and finished it out. And got this where it was heavily rippled right here, sanded flat. And then I went ahead and got it in high build epoxy primer. And typically I'll do this at the same time I do the rest of the truck, but I didn't have the rest of the truck ready, and it doesn't really matter. I needed these fenders ready. So now that the fenders are ready and it's the first thing the next day, I'm gonna go ahead and glaze the little chips. I see a couple right there, and find the remaining little chips or cracks or defects or anything like that, and go ahead and get those glazed up. Get the fenders sanded all back down. Then I'll go ahead and get my regular epoxy primer on them of a very similar shade of gray, maybe slightly lighter. And then I'll give it 15 minutes in here for that to become dust free. Once that becomes dust free, I'll go ahead and kick the doors open and get back on my glazing back here. All right, now before I go sanding this, and I'm gonna sand this here any second, it's just about set up. I've got a new truck showing up this afternoon from a brand new customer, a truck I've never seen from a customer I've never met. and he'll be here about any minute. So I'll cut away. As soon as I hear him pull up, I'll cut away with the camera and see what we can capture. Okay, gang, our new arrival has showed up. Let's go have us a look. All right, gang, here we have an '02 Peterbilt 378. And this guy comes to us just from north of Recluse, Wyoming, so 3 hours or more away, I suppose. This truck is going to be bright colored with a fancy stripe scheme when it's all done. Chassis, everything is going to get redone on this truck. And as you can see, I got my work cut out for me. Some other bozo was in there. So chassis needs a lot of work. Fenders are coming off. They were just protecting the back window from rocks on the way down here because it's a brand new window. But as you can see, no prep was done. So this is just going to be a blast. The exhaust is coming off and staying off. We're pulling the brackets and everything. We're probably going to be mounting brand new air cleaners to it, where it never even had them, because it's on the inside. We're going to be moving them and putting it on the outside. And we're going to be putting a whole different visor on it and mounting it as well. We got a lot of stuff we're going to be doing on this one. And this one's coming down the road. They're not in a big hurry for it, just as long as they have it by beginning of fall sometime. So it's coming, but it's not on the short list. And now we're going to get back to this. And as you saw, I did another thing of body work over there. And I'm going to be doing another thing of body work from that light mount right there down. Because this is just a little bit too shallow. And so was that one. That panel from there down was too shallow, and this is still a bit too shallow. If I do glazing, it's going to have to be a heavy coat or 2 coats or something unnecessary, because as I've explained before, the glazing costs as much per quart as the bodywork does per gallon. So it doesn't make sense to do a bunch of filling with glazing. And I can tell by feel, just by running my hand on it, that that's still a bit shallow. So I'm going to go ahead and do bodywork over it again, just like I did that one. And I brought that one up quite a bit. Now that one's finally ready for glazing. I'll get this one ready for glazing, and then I'll go ahead and glaze everything. Good morning, gang. So we got some blue on the fenders. I didn't get everything else done yesterday that I wanted to, but time was of the essence. I needed to get these done early enough in the afternoon that they had the proper amount of cure hours before today. I didn't want to get these shot at 7, 8 o'clock last night and then try and tape on them first thing this morning. So instead I got it shot, mid-afternoon, and I had to kind of neglect the rest of this. But that doesn't really put us off schedule, because what we're doing today is, here in a few minutes, I'm going to go ahead and get these fenders separated off with vinyl tape. And here in just a few more minutes, the boys are going to be in, or somebody's going to be in, the crew's going to be in, and they're going to go ahead and mask these fenders up. And then right after we're done with that, we're going to go ahead and finish everything else. Finish sanding the top, scratching the top. I'm going to go ahead and finish up my body work on the back here. I just have some glazing. I kind of quit mid panel, in fact. So I'll finish up all my glazing back here, and I'll do all my finish work. And then we'll go ahead and, once it's all done, get it all blown off. I'll send them packing, and I'll get my wet sanding primer on, my high build epoxy primer, and then I'll get my chassis primed, and then we'll call it a day. Okay, we got the fenders all separated out. Crew's coming through the door here any minute. And it's go time. And so we're just finishing up masking here. Both sides masked up. Now we're going to go ahead and get everything prepped and then get some wet sanding primer on it. everything done, everything sanded, everything scratched, got everything blown off, got the whole shop blown out. I've got both of my primers mixed up. My black primer for this chassis and my high build epoxy primer for the rest of the bodywork here. And here's something that's kind of interesting I'll show you that most people don't get to see unless you work in and around chemicals the way I do. Like right here, this is my spray cup, my quart spray cup, and overspray gets on it all the time since it's at ground zero, and it builds and builds and builds, and eventually it'll get 1/16, 1/8 inch thick even. I just stuck this in here upside down in some thinner. There's just some in there. And I just stuck this upside down in there so I could get all this freed up. Those knobs right there that hold on to my paint spray cap, right, they hook on right here. All that just gets all gummed up. So I stuck it in there upside down for about an hour and then put some weight on it to hold it down into the thinner. And then here's what it looks like. Now watch this. Look at that. That's just many, many, many layers of paint and primer. And just like that, here it is first thing the next morning, and I'll show you what we got done yesterday. Got that big chipped out piece of material right there handled and primed. Got the door finished and primed. Got everything over here finished and primed. You saw this. We got all this done yesterday. Got it all in primer. Got the chassis in 3 coats of primer in most spots. This one was pretty chewed up. And I had mixed up plenty of primer. I don't like saving it necessarily because enough days go by and now it's not any good. So a lot of times I'll just elect to use it. With everything primed nice and heavy like this, it's time today to go ahead and start sanding on some of this primer. Get it all sanded down, get this thing 100%. I'm the only one in the shop today. These are all my details. I'm gonna go ahead and get everything sanded down, get everything glazed before I do. Walk around it, make sure there's no pinholes, no nothing like that. And of course there will be. So I'll go ahead and get all that glazed up. Then I'll come through, sand everything down, get everything 100% finaled. And then I'll go ahead and prime this in white and go ahead and get everything shot here this afternoon probably. One thing's for sure, if I don't get this in paint today, I'll be putting it together by myself because the crew's going camping tomorrow. And tomorrow morning, if this is done, we'll go ahead and put it together. It doesn't take us long to put one of these together. I mean, these guys take off the exhaust. They take off everything themselves, a lot of things themselves. So there's not as much to put back on one of these. So we can have one of these put together in under 2 hours generally. So tomorrow morning at some point when we're done with this, they're going to take off and go camping. So if I don't have it done by then and I'm shooting it tomorrow, either I wait 4 or 5 days until they get back or I put it back together myself. And you know me, I'm not going to wait around. I'll put it back together myself, but I don't want to have to if I don't have to. Well, it's going to be a long, busy day, my friends, and I'm busy burning daylight right now. Might as well get to it. Well, okay, gang. Got everything sanded down, everything ready to go. Now at this point, I'm going to mix up some white primer and get this guy in white primer. But interestingly enough, since the last time I turned the camera on, there's been quite a few things that have gone down here in the shop. See, when I came back the following morning after getting all my high build epoxy primer on, which was actually yesterday, and got to sand it on, I realized that there was a few different rashes of scratches that were deeper than my primer was. I went over with 2 heavy coats, should have done 3, and didn't. And once I noticed that the scratches were a little deeper than my primer, I went ahead and sanded it all down anyway yesterday, nice and thoroughly and good and even, and got the driver's side door all boarded down and everything with 180 because I knew I was going to reprime it anyway, so what the heck. Got everything all chopped down with 180 instead of 220 or even 320, knowing I was going to reprime a bunch of it. Ended up repriming the entire back and the door, the driver's side door, and the entire other side. Not this one right here, but the other one, this on the other side there. So I ended up repriming quite a bit of stuff yesterday, and that's the way I left it last night. So then this morning I come in and started over and sanded everything all back down. I'm the only one in the shop today. Sanded everything down 100%, got it all ready to go, all blown off. Now I'm gonna go ahead and mix up my primer because now I'm confident in what I've got here and I'm gonna get it primed. Okay, gang, this guy's all primed, 100% cured out, 100% ready to go. Got my paint mixed up. Let's go ahead and get this done. Well, good morning, gang. Well, it's first thing the next morning, and as you saw yesterday, I got the truck painted, and my camera cut out just before I was able to shoot the hood, but you can take my word for it, I did get the hood shot. And now today, this morning, I'm going to go ahead and finish looking this guy over, and if it's passed all those tests, I'm going to go ahead and unmask the fenders. And if it passed that test, then we're greenlit. I'm going to go ahead and get some parts over here. The boys will be here any minute. We'll go ahead and get this guy put back together today. Okay, well, that went pretty well. Now I'm going to go ahead and start stacking some parts up over here, so when the crew gets here any minute, we can go ahead and get going on this guy. There you go. That'll hold just as good as, because that's what's in there to begin with, is a nutsert. So I've just replaced what's there, only with a different one that just happens to not be metric. Well, all right, gang, this guy's 100% done. Let's go ahead and walk around it and have us a look. Okay, here we have a 2003 Kenworth W900. And here's how the roof's turned out. Nice and clean and shiny. Dust-free, crack-free, blemish-free. Basically, they look totally brand new. Here's how this 2003 Kenworth looked before, with all the clear coat coming off. Big scar right there. Paint coming off the doors. Back completely full of dents, basically caved in 2 spots. Chassis really needing sandblasted. And here's how it looks after. All the clear coat issues have been taken care of. The blemishes are gone out of the side. All those little wavy blemishes are gone out of here. Doors all fixed up instead of dented up. This has been all fixed up now. Little dings that were in the sleeper doors are gone. In the back, nice and clean. Looks brand new. And here's the chassis all cleaned up. Sandblasted, triple primed, double coated. When this one showed up, it had clear coat coming off of the hood, the entire top of the hood, the entire top of the roof, and the roof of the sleeper. So we had to get up there and get basically all the rest of the clear off by hand, and braid it down by hand, and then sand it down further than that and even everything out on the hood and on the on both roof caps. And when this showed up, the aluminum stopper that is mounted inside of the brace down here that sits down and holds up the hood's weight when the hood is closed was completely wallowed out and had the brace behind it completely sloppy. It was off by like 1.5 inches, a pretty impressive amount on this side. And believe it or not, the other side, it wasn't off at all. So it makes me think that the other side, the rubber stopper that it lands on must not have been very well adjusted all these years, and it must not have just simply been sitting on it. That's the only reason I can figure, but yeah, this side was in real bad shape. And as you can see, the hood is perfectly adjusted now. It was sitting, about 1.5 inches or so down, and it was bashed into that front of the cab behind it. All that's been repaired. It's about 1 inch from the cab the way it should be. The tops are the exact way they should be. It's perfectly adjusted on both sides. We had the typical amount of scrapes and scratches and paint peeling off of the doors. On this one, it was all the way around the perimeter. It was coming off. We had dings back here in the sleeper doors. The corners were really busted up and the back was really beat up. I would say exceptionally beat up. It was pretty bad. Had some big dents in it. You can see there's nothing in it now. It's pretty clean. You can tell by the light going across there. It's hard to see in this little screen exactly what I'm showing you, but it's as clean as I can get it, and nearly as clean as it was when it left the factory. So pretty darn clean. The chassis had it desperately needed sandblasted, and man, it was a handful too. Got it all done and got it triple primed, double primed in some spots, triple in a lot of spots, and then double coated with 2K urethane. Got the whole thing done, including some of the details down in here. Got that all cleaned up, blasted and painted. The back of the roof cap there was really chipped up. God, there must have been 150 chips in that thing alone. And as I mentioned, big dents over, especially on this side. There was a real big one there, real big one right there between the light and the thing. It was real big. So I don't see any evidence of it anymore. But yeah, it was, this one was pretty darn beat up all the way around the corners. And over here, we had some dings in the sleeper doors. This one had a couple of decent sized dents. This had some big dents in it. The door was, this whole back half of it was dents basically. So got it all cleaned up. This deal right here where I went ahead and just paved right over the top of that rivet that was there. As you can see, it doesn't look like it was ever bent up there. If this truck showed up at my shop, I wouldn't even notice that it was missing a rivet there. And it's not actually missing it. That rivet's in there doing its job. It's just buried under bodywork. So it isn't like I've left it loose in there. But yeah, it's just not a noticeable thing. Even though I know these Kenworths pretty darn well, if this showed up to my shop this way, I wouldn't even really pick up on that there's a rivet missing right here. And all the bodywork is pretty clean. So, I mean, I'm happy with the way it turned out. Door turned out nice and straight and clean. Had to replace a couple of the nutserts on the other side of the visor, as well as a couple of the nutserts back here on the work lights. But all in all, I gotta say it went back together pretty smoothly, for around here anyway. Up next, we've got this banged up old work truck right here. Early 2000s Peterbilt, laid on its side. It's gonna take all kinds of parts, all kinds of thought, all kinds of processes. Should be interesting. And we'll be pulling that guy around back and getting the chassis sandblasted just as soon as we get this guy pulled out of the shop. Hey, if you like this video, you should take the time to hit the like button. It's gonna help me grow my channel. If you want to see more of what goes on around here, come check us out at Facebook at Flash Industrial Painting. And if it turns out you're looking to see more equipment painting tutorials, domestic vehicle painting, carpentry, art, dirt moving, any of the many things we end up doing around here, you should probably go ahead and hit the subscribe button while you're at it then, because, you know, we always got something going on. We'll see you guys around.